So how could I use Star Wars to explain different theories in psychology? The Force, of course. No, I'm just playing. But speaking of the Force, this is a perfect analogy of how mental health works, right? Mental health is dynamic. You're going to have down days, you're going to have up days, and it ebbs and flows. And when it comes to mental health, we look at it as all or nothing. But in actuality, it's two different sides of a spectrum. Now, from a subclinical standpoint, you might have times where you're down, you might be sad, you might be having emotions that you can't really explain. But just like with the Force, there's aspects of it that we can't explain, but we know on the dark side, it's the way of more treacherous thoughts, things that aren't for the best of people's benefit. But then the Jedi way, they're looking to help those be peaceful, be mindful. And this is just how we are in our mental health endeavors. Now, with the dark side, this can kind of represent maybe depression, anxiety, those thoughts that may hinder us. But speaking of the dark side, what about Darth Vader? Now, he's a perfect representation of how people's inner conflict and unresolved trauma can lead to push them to the bad side or the dark side in this case, because yes, he came up not the best of life. He had an opportunity to become a Jedi, and unfortunately a lot of things would happen that would push him, the death of his mother and other things. He would go on a rampage. And just like in life, when we have trauma, we experience something stressful that may hinder our life, we have a decision of, can it be post-traumatic stress and it will haunt us for later on, or it can be post-traumatic growth and we can learn from it. So unfortunately, Darth Vader, aka Anakin Skywalker, would go on to the wrong way. Now, this is a perfect segue to how they use this trauma to grow, because Princess Leia, she would literally witness her whole home planet explode. So you can see that could be pretty big effect on someone. So instead of succumbing to it, she would fight the resistance to be on the side of good and not evil. She could have given up. She could have went the wrong way, but she chose to keep going. Now, with that being said, let's look at her son, Kylo Ren. Now, he's a perfect example of how people hold the representations of others' beliefs in them so high that they don't really know their own identity. And you can see this could be a problem. Yes, outside opinion should affect us to some degree, because this is what lets us know we're really trying and doing something, especially when it comes from a loved one. But when we get so lost in what other people think and how it should shape our own identity of ourselves, it can skew us and we can think everything we do is in vain or not enough. And this can lead you to that lack of fulfillment in life. Now, speaking of fulfillment, becoming a Jedi, Luke Skywalker, the main character of Star Wars, he would go on to have a pretty crazy life too. But when he got the chance to train with Obi-Wan Kenobi, he wasn't the best. But this is a perfect example of self-efficacy, because self-efficacy is kind of like self-esteem and confidence, but it involves being efficient at a skill. So it's going to be ups and downs. Sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong, but you need criticism, objective feedback, and all this he got from Obi-Wan, and eventually he would get it from Yoda, and he would become a master Jedi. Now, let's finish this off with Yoda. I think he represents emotional regulation and cognitive flexibility. These two things go hand in hand in different regards. Emotional regulation is being able to stay calm, not overzealous, not overreacting and impulsive when things do not go your way, staying in control, not easily to anger. And he definitely showed this through his wisdom. And speaking of cognitive flexibility, look at how he talked. Do or do not. There is no try. So being able to see things from different perspectives to solve problems is key when dealing with emotions and mental health as a whole. So may the fourth be with you, and always get your mind right.